Welcome to episode 81 of the May Contain Action podcast, brought to you by MCA Media and your mom. And I'm your dad. That's right. My name is Paul, aka Action Jackson. I am one of the hosts of the May Contain Action podcast. And I am joined, as I often am, by the one, the only future Hall of Famer and future super successful YouTuber. I am Trevor May, everybody.
That's me. Future successful YouTube or what streamer?
Take your
maker,
time.
YouTuber.
Take your time. Yeah.
Video maker, future.
Yeah.
But not currently.
Not currently. You're going to transition from a full baseball career to a full YouTube content career. It's going to be great.
Yes. I don't know if that's been telegraphed well enough over the last 4 years, but yes, that's pretty clear that that's going to be what happens for sure.
For sure.
This is the pod where we talk about stuff that we don't talk about on stream.
Yes. Consider
like
this
that as
our
our tagline.
just chatting on Twitch, where we're just going to kind of talk about a couple of things that we want to bring up and touch on. No guest today, just Trevor and myself.
Yes.
Our dulcet tones.
What
Dulcet? Is it dulcet?
Is it dulcet?
Is it
PM?
Dulcet? PM is it
Is
dulcet?
dulcet a word?
I'll
PM
look
is
in a
dulcet.
second.
You're going to look? Okay, he's going to look. He's going to check.
Okay,
Perfect.
well,
We're going to get back to you on the type of tones that you're going to get here.
Yeah. I've never
But they're
heard
going to
that
be
word.
something.
Dulcet.
It's dulcet.
dulcet.
Freaking nailed it.
Nice,
Sweet.
Paul.
Thank you.
Sweet.
I'm rubbing off on you,
Soothing.
dude. Thesaurus Paul.
Oh.
There he is.
It's
Hell
often
yeah.
used ironically.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Makes
so-
sense too. Fits. No, that works.
I will tell you, as far as rubbing off, sorry.
There's
In the
two-
living
two in a
room,
row.
I've said constantly now, I say bits and bobs all the time.
Bits and bobs.
And now Tirza says bits and bobs all the time.
It literally works for anything, man.
Bits and bobs.
I feel like that's
I'm
like
sure
a
she
traditional.
was like, bits and
English thing.
bobs. And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, that's so good.
What's Kate now? Kate and I say zhuzh constantly.
Zhuzh? What does that mean?
Zhuzh it. It's just it means to like slightly clean up or slightly change or we're almost there, but we're not quite there. Let's zhuzh it into play. It's a very like generic, wide, doesn't really mean anything. It's like a corporate term, you know. They're like, let's circle back. We'll zhuzh it up. Circle back. So also we stole one from a catchphrase from Mythic Quest that Rob McElhenney says all the time because he's like the head dev of the game, and he always goes, "Let me noodle on it. I'm gonna noodle." And every time he says he's gonna noodle, that means that they're gonna get a delay, right? So they're like, "No, he's noodling." He's like, "No, I'm gonna noodle," and he's just walking out of the room. He's like, "Noodling. I'll be back. I'll noodle." So we've started saying, "Let's noodle. Let me noodle on that." You want to go to dinner tonight? I'm like, "I'm gonna noodle on that. We'll circle back, and then we'll zhuzh it into the calendar."
I want our listeners to feel free to use any of those, royalty free. Those are all great phrases.
Yes,
those are all for you to use.
We're not quite to the point where we can DMCA you for using phrases.
Not quite.
As we can. We will. So take advantage.
We're gonna try to nickel and dime you. I'm not above DMCAing people. They're gonna do it to me. I'm gonna do it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So today we wanted to touch on, and you kind of brought this up, the idea of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's relevant to us currently at this moment here in the Christmas season. This is supposed to be like, you know, peak viewership for everything, and everyone's watching streamers and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and I think it's important to touch on because I actually read something recently from one of our former guests, and just kind of talking about. She was touching on how the end of the year is just very. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot for everybody. You know, it's not like we have a monopoly on being burnt out, but it's like end of the year, man.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much going on. There's so many family things that you got going on. You know, possibly there's like a lot of friend things. There's work. There's charities. There's this. There's that. There's just everything. And so it can be a little bit much, and how much you care about your growth can directly affect how you handle all that. So I think it's very relevant to what we're talking about here.
Exactly.
Relevant to your jobs as well, whatever they may be. Looking at you, coal miner who listens to our podcast.
Yes.
One
we care about you as well as all politicians around election day. Yes.
They got calluses on their hands.
Yes, they do. Very important to the
Yes.
forward movement of this country.
So how important then is growth to you
So I've been
right
grappling
now?
with right this moment. I've been grappling. Well, so I have a different relationship with this time of year than lots of people, simply because my off time. It's
Mhm.
so weird. My life is just a series of expiration dates and like transitions, this over and over and over again, and they're about the same time every year,
Oh,
and
sure.
that is like something that you need to like deal with in certain ways. And to be honest, in 15 years I basically am like, ooh, can't wait for the off season so I can cram all of these things that I like in. And then during the season I'm like, I need to be this level of good this whole season, but these things I can't do now because I won't be able to put enough time into them because so it's like I'm always
Yeah,
like
yeah.
looking forward, like, ooh, I can do this here and do this here, do this here. And I've know, like, I always know when my next flight's gonna be. Like it's just a
Jeez.
it's hard because like Kate and I were talking about this recently. She's working on she really wants to like help continue to design the house. She wants the house to be exactly the way that makes her feel good about being home all the like when she's home. Like she
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
design it. It's her passion right now. And she
Exactly.
said she's really struggling like to really go in on it because she knows that she's not going to get to enjoy it for most of the year yet, so it like doesn't feel worth the
Oh,
time, but it also is something she really wants to do. So like you're
that's
like, I'm
tough. You're, like, stuck in
exactly.
this limbo, yeah.
I'm super excited about this, but in a month it's not going to matter. Like that
Yes.
sucks. And I have
Yes.
the same thing with making, not just streaming. A lot of people are like, oh, streaming video games. Yes, that has been the heart of creating quote unquote content for me over the last
Mhm.
5 years since I've been streaming. But
Yeah.
like, I have a lot of other ideas. I'm the ideas guy, and I want to try stuff and flesh things
Yeah, of
out. And the
course.
problem is, I cast this wide net, and then growth is hard to like. It's hard to get any sort of feedback whether growing is going to happen or not because of the way that I approach it. And again, I am limited
Ah.
on time at the same time, so it like gets really, really frustrating and overwhelming behind the scenes to where it takes the joy out of it. So
You
it's
feel
like
like
a
you have to
catch
cram so
22.
much in, like,
Yeah,
this little section of time where you're in the off season. Yeah, and then kinda hope it plays out or trickles out throughout the rest of the season, then pick it back up again
yeah,
towards
and
the
hope
end.
I
Yeah.
don't kill it by like having a month where I'm like, dude, I just don't have any time to do this. And
Yeah.
trying to figure a way to solve those problems while consistently growing something that I am really passionate about, and that is probably going to overlap into retired time. So like, it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing this longer, but it's still not my number one priority, which is super weird
Yes.
and hard to do. But there is ways, and I think that uh, uh, that I've gotten pretty excited, at least over the last since our last episode. Actually, I was excited then because I think I made some realizations about myself and what I want to do
Mhm.
long term. Into middle age even. Uh, but and that was good, and that was basically just saying, you know what, this is going to work. I'm going to keep coming back to this, so might as well just really push hard there, and then
Mhm.
I've applied that same logic just to because I'm not going to stop playing video games, and I'm not going to stop streaming video games, and I'm not going to stop streaming and with my community and stuff, and I only want to
Yeah.
grow that community. So you got to shift. I feel like shift where you're looking at where you would like to grow, and
Mhm.
set some goals there, and not worry about the other things that maybe you're not spending as much time on, like for example Twitch.
Mm.
And and feel free to we'll pop in here at any point as well when we're talking about just about being live and
Yeah.
the quote unquote sub counts, the measures we have: sub counts, overall followers and viewers, like in
Mhm.
concurrence. Like those are the big metrics you kind of like are aware of.
Yeah.
And generally for me, because I've been bouncing around games there, I haven't had a game where I'm like, this is like, I'm gonna play this every single day. I've been just kind of jumping around. We're in a lockout, so I'm gonna be the show. Like no one wants to, like, it's just dead.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
really a big game either anyways, and but like even my ability to bring in a little bit more viewers for that is just kind of like we're in the middle of this lull where there's not a lot, like they don't come in, there's nothing to ask me, right? Like there's no,
Yeah, there's nothing
where's we at in the
happening, no
lockout? I'm not
news.
gonna answer that question. So like that's there's
Yeah,
nothing really to talk
exactly.
about. There's no free agency,
Mhm.
there's no events, there's no nothing to ask me my opinion on. So it's just a little bit slower. So I haven't found that game, and it feels like going through the motions a little bit. And again, it sucks to go through
Yeah.
through the motions when you don't have that much time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I completely relate to that, and I think that I think you a little bit because you were able to find MLB The Show, and you're kind of enjoying Minecraft, and so you have like these different things that you're excited about. At least it seems.
Yeah.
It feels like the exact same period between when Fortnite was over and we hadn't found Tarkov yet.
Mhm.
It was like this kind of just for my own mental sake, dropping the game of Fortnite, diving deep into a low sag of concurrent, and then just trying to be okay with that. Kind of feels like that. Like it's a post Tarkov world. I mean, Tarkov actually has gotten slightly more fun. So getting back into that community and proving to that community that I'm worth watching again might be worth it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this age in my life, and maybe some of the listeners as well feel this way, regardless of their job. You're just like I'm looking for passive income in a way that I can invest in the future so that I don't have to worry about, am I in a lull right now? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, like you invest in things, or you try to become a part of projects that will pay dividends in the future so that you don't have to grind so hard or worry so much about viewership. Yeah, I'm just at a point right now where I'm kind of in a lull, and I would rather just spend time with my community when I can and hang out like on the couch type of deal than to push some sort of like, we're going to do bang, bang, bang. We're going to do like this thing and then this thing and then this thing. I just don't have the energy for that right now.
Yeah.
And I think partly with the kid coming, that's going to get worse or the same.
You have a date you're looking at as well, where you're like, my time is going to be drastically decreased.
My time is limited. Exactly.
Yes. And how is this going to work then? And I bet you that causes a little bit. I don't know if you've talked about it on stream at all, but I bet there's some stress involved with projecting for that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean,
just being a father, literally, how is work going to work too? Like, because of the job you have.
Exactly. And I think it's really important for me to understand that I only have so much control over what will happen in the future. And that's okay. Like, I can make smart decisions now that will help me in the future, but I ultimately can't see what will happen, good or bad. And actually, I talked with Cheers about this last night. I was like, knowing that I don't have control over the future is freeing in a lot of ways, because it releases me from trying to grip onto this thing that I can't really do. I can't control. And just try to make smart, educated decisions, hope for the best, plan, but don't stress over it, because you cannot control that. And that has been really helpful for me. Just remembering that, because man, I mean, with any job, but especially with a contractor type position, whatever it is, I don't care if it's like landscaping or HVAC or streaming to some extent, like you are dependent on the market. And if the market doesn't need landscaping right now or doesn't need streaming, then it's going to go bad. So anyway, all that to say, giving up control has been really freeing, and I'm okay with this lull right now.
Yeah.
I actually find people who aren't slightly annoying, but I'm not judging those people. I've been there and I understand that. I'm just like, whatever, let's just play solitaire and talk on stream. They're like, no, I have to play this game. I have to be here for this. Like, it's like, okay, no problem.
Yeah. No, I understand. Everyone's in different places. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, you gotta, what you kind of like, and we talked to Steph about this when she was on a little bit, but what your baseline is for whether or not like you're trying to hockey stick and continue to grow, or like, is that your goal now? Because that makes a lull even harder. It's harder for like that 19-year-old kid who tasted some really like big growth in the last year, and then suddenly it's a lull now. That could be more frustrating than for us who have been going for 5 years and have transition games for and have been in several lulls. Like, it's just about
that's a good point.
But it is what you're trying to get out of it at the end of the day. I love the whole relinquishing control thing, because that's where like 90% of everyone's stress and anxiety comes from, is like whether or not you're in control of something. When you feel out of control, it sucks more.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you hit the start stream button yourself. And so you like that you have a measure of control there, but at the same time, like you can't control anyone's reactions to what your decisions are making. So like you have control over when you're doing the work you want to do, but you don't have control over how people are going to perceive it or take it. And all you
Exactly.
can do is do your best. You do the best you can. So
Yeah.
yes, lulls exist. They're here, but and I think we've established of the show over this 81 episodes now that I'm the guy that's like just obsessed with having a list of possible ideas and
and that's your personality. That's totally fine. I'm not knocking that at all.
That's how I stoke the fire, right? I go
Yeah.
look at it and say, hey, is there anything that I can tackle here? But I am very much interested in the YouTube the traditional YouTube way where you tell stories and create it, and you do it in a highly curated way as opposed to live on stream, and then you just like highlight what happened on the stream and on your YouTube as a result. So like instead of like one happening and then the other one being a byproduct, like really maybe just trying to do more of the other stuff, make the other one the number one, and then the stream become like flipping the script a little bit, because it gives you more freedom. There's just more freedom involved. Like there's less time live. It's more pick up, put down, and that is creating a lot more like flexibility in this time. It causes less stress that I have to stream this many hours in the off season because it's the only time I get to do it. Like, I have like what 300 like what am I trying to do? Make $1,000 a month on Twitter? You know what I mean? Like, what is that doing other than so what is the real reason for being live? And that is interaction with the community.
Yeah. And on that same exact note, it's like, I think it's also very important to understand that it's okay to be in that position. Like, allow yourself to be in the lull, or allow yourself to be in this period where you're kind of feel like I don't know, like not super motivated, or maybe not like understanding where you fit, because there's like gems in that moment. Like there's good things in that moment. I mean, just as an example for myself, like in between this weird game, don't know what I'm going to play thing, really developing a good relationship with Sheriff Eli, who has been a ton of fun. And then we play games together, but I wouldn't necessarily have been with him or played these games if I wasn't estranged, as it were, from Tarkov. So understanding that you're going to go through peaks and valleys, but there's a lot of good stuff in the valleys too. There's not nothing down there.
Oh, silver linings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. So it's been very helpful for me understanding that is just like, you give up control. You understand that you're in this place for a reason, but there's still something to be had down here. You just have to look for it. You have to be aware of it. And sometimes it takes hindsight. You're like, oh, actually, I'm thankful for that time because that's when I've met this person. And that's how I started this.
Oh, exactly. That's like my biggest thing I said when I got Tommy John surgery in 2017. I was like, I'm going to do something that I couldn't do if I was playing baseball. And then I started the streaming thing. Now here we are. I got surgery. That sucked. I lost a year of my career, but now I'm here. So like, but I knew in the moment that that's what could happen. And so I actively pursued it. It's just about having perspective. I love that take. I would love to like maybe take a slight right turn a little bit, and I wanted to talking about like focusing on other things that maybe for me, because I still want to, like, I don't know, I'm a skill acquirer, and I like to go and measure, get good at certain things or figure things out, and then get feedback and see if I can do it well, because I've done one thing at a world-class level. I think that I can do other things. I don't know. It's fun. It's like it's my fuel. So I've gotten in this habit of like throwing a YouTube video on I got this off TikTok. Someone's like, hey, if you have struggles, like you don't want to go like do your morning routine because like you're ADD and you can't, it's like not interesting to you. So you tend to like kind of breeze through it. If you need to stay there, what you do is get something that's a background stimulation that can be in the bathroom with you, and it makes you do those things. So like I basically got one of those little cases you can put your phone in the shower.
Wait,
right? Like to watch a video. Like it's like a little waterproof case. You just pop it in and it's like on the wall. And like put a YouTube video up for a couple of reasons. One, I don't consume YouTube videos that much. I didn't really. I'm trying to do YouTube videos, but I don't watch enough of them. Like that doesn't make sense. Like you get feedback and like you'll pick up on things that people do really well that you just don't do. And you're like, oh, that'd be an easy change. That'd probably help. And for whatever reason, Ludwig comes up all the time because Ludwig does a bunch of random stuff and he does it really well. And there
Okay.
is a formula. He has it. It's just not readily apparent if you watch. You're like, oh, we're just chatting today. Okay, there's still 100,000 or there's still 50,000 people here. Oh, we're playing this random game off Steam. Oh, there's still 50,000. Like, what is it about you, right? That because it's definitely not. They're not going by what's the directory you're in very clearly. XQC is the same way. There's something his people like, and that's your formula. Like, there's something that if you put that on YouTube and you really play up those ideas, it doesn't matter what you're doing because the people that if you're within your formula in that like flow of that algorithm flow, if you injected yourself into it, then you don't need to like you don't need to attach yourself to a game or an event or a type of like reactions. You don't need to be a reactions person. There is something in there that if you are interesting and you and I have been I think over the years it showed that we're pretty interesting and people do like us. Like we've gone through the times where we grew a lot and had big followings and then it dwindled because of whatever. But it was there. That's feedback saying there's something here. I could do that. How do I capitalize on that all the time? So I was interested in it. And he did a video very specific. And he was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel not affiliated with me at all. And we're going to see how many videos I get or how many views I get. I'm going to pay someone on Fiverr to edit it. Yes, I'm going to invest some money in this, but I'm trying to prove some concepts with how do you figure out what your formula is going to be. I'm going to create a formula from scratch here for what this channel is going to be representative of. He goes, then I'm going to try to get Mizkif to watch the video because if he watches it live, because he knows a bunch of people that basically do co-signing as their content. They get fed stuff. Tim does this too, right? They get fed stuff. Then they like by watching it and reacting to it. They're either co-signing or not co-signing with that person who made that. Not Donkey, but the kid, the Grumbe.
Grumbe. Yeah,
that's how he was an amazing editor, very talented, but like it's just very hard to like. There's no thing in the algorithm that's like this is edited well. It's really hard for it to tell. You know what I mean? To distinguish that. That's not part of the AI. Part of the AI is co-signing, and the people when a lot of people are interacting with it, no matter where they came from, that tells the algorithm that they like it.
Yes.
So if you can like give yourself that injection, and that unfortunately that means donating videos and spamming stuff, and like that is a strategy to do it.
For
and
sure.
There's a way to do it, and that was kind of what Ludwig did. Which, it's funny because streamers hate that generally, but like. At the same time,
line,
like
man,
it's a fine line. Symphony is very open about how he says, "Yeah, I scream sniper when I was young, and that's how people figured out I was really good." Right?
Seth Drums.
Yeah.
Seth Drums. Seth Drums' whole brand is
and
around
he's leaned
that.
Into it.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to develop. You're like, I'm genuine. Like I genuinely am I make good stuff, and people should know about me. And it takes time, but there is ways to do it. But anyway. Ludwig talked a lot about the formula, and the formula is really interesting to me because he's like, if you're super narrow, be super narrow. If you like try to go up and over the top, Mr. Beast, that's his formula. I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to one up everybody all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's this, like, I'm just going to go so insane. You have to watch it. And I still watch him. I know how they're going to go. I know his formula. I know how pretty much every one of his videos ends, and I watch every single one anyways. Like, just because it's incredible the things he's able to do as a YouTuber.
Yes. He's very talented at that.
And so I've started watching those videos and just like, I don't know, I learned how to like immediately get better at singing. There's like a quick trick to tell out what your natural pitch is. And then that makes you immediately a good singer. I was like, holy shit, this is a great video. That's one of the things I got. But Ludwig was just like, okay, I made this video. It was really, really well done. He hired a guy on Fiverr to like read his script he wrote for it to be the narrator. So it's not him. It's not his voice. And then he got Mizkif to watch it live on stream and then recorded that and then made a video about it. And then Mizkif made a video about how he got him because he didn't know it was him. Like, this is how they made content. And it's just like two buddies and they're already big. And I know that, but like that is really a really cool, like they're literally helping each other while helping if Ludwig was another person and not him, like there would have been a third person involved where they could have helped that person grow as well. Like, it's a co-sign culture, which can be bad, but is also very good if you're making cool stuff, if you're taking chances and going out on a limb and like trying things that other people aren't trying or trying to do something better than someone who's already done it, which leads me to kind of the decision I made. So I already talked about the baseball channel, correct? Last week. For my non-baseball channel is what we're dubbing it. I'm going to just play do videos on only one game and try to do like 15 straight of them. I'm going to play one game. I'm only doing videos on those, whether I'm streaming other things or not, or I'm on playing games with you or whatever. That's not going to go on the YouTube. Only the Minecraft videos are going on the YouTube.
Oh.
So we're gonna try, because Minecraft is the most popular game in the world still. It's the most viewed. It's just the easy. It's low hanging fruit. It's easy. It's a really good baseline to see like whether or not you'll know if you're in the algorithm or not. It's very easy to tell. So this isn't like niche. It's like very broad. But like the number of different things you can do, like we were talking about before the show, is ridiculous. Like it's just it's a sandbox of all sandboxes. You can do, and we're designing a map with my buddy from home who makes his own maps. Like he's been doing it for years because it's fun, and he does it with his kids now. And we're working on one because we had a dream when we were 12 and 13 and 14. We're like, man, I wish there was like a first person game, but it was like Lord of the Rings where we like fought the Battle of Helm's Deep, but like there's 100 people on your team that are actual people. And there's 100 people on their team, and then they try to assault like Chivalry or For Honor. We wanted that to exist, but like 100 on 100.
That'd be crazy. Yeah.
You can do that in Minecraft now because the resources for that game are low. You just have to build so everyone's wearing the same armor. You create some sort of like, like in League or whatever, where you go destroy something in their base to win.
Yeah.
And then you just get massive amounts of people into groups, and then you just watch how it all plays out, because people are going to group up. They're going to push different ways. They're going to try to come up with strategies. There's, and I'm like, so we're working on that, and we're going to try to make it's huge. You got to get 100, 200 people to come play. I don't know how I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use Reddit or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
But in the Minecraft world, that kind of stuff, people are like, dude, I got to see how this happens.
Yeah, so that plays out.
But underneath all of that stuff, dude, organizing that, coming up with that idea and building it from scratch and stuff and seeing how it all works, dude, that's just my itch. I'm scratching the shit out of it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is everything I love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you find the thing that you love to do, especially in the lulls. So your thing is
I'm gonna go for
being creative. You're just like, let me think of new ideas.
Give me the most creative game there is.
Exactly.
And then let me just like go down that rabbit hole, that list of things I have. It's infinitely long, and we'll just see what sticks and what doesn't. But let's get feedback. Let's see how many videos we can and see if we can bump this shit up. I'm going for 100,000 subs on that channel. I'm going for it. I'm going to see what we can do. I'm going to say it in every single video. Hey, I'm going for 100,000. I want the goddamn plaque. Let's go. Let's do it now. I'm sick of this shit. It's taking forever. Let's go. I'm doing Minecraft, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And you guys can. You guys can come help me. You can whatever, and we're gonna try to do that shit. And not only that, if we do that video or that huge battle, like getting you and Jen, and because Lupo's played and he's good at like getting a bunch of people to come just be in this huge battle.
Yeah,
and just dude, I can imagine if it's done right and we get it balanced well, it's gonna be hilarious.
And then it makes this springboard for everyone else to make content around.
Exactly, and I'll be like, everyone record. Everybody. Smaller streamers come in, people who are just starting their YouTube channels come in, put your group of people together. You guys can all get in the Discord call, and you can be like a squad, and you can make it's a whole story happening parallel to everyone else's that may not even interact with me at all.
Exactly. Yeah. You could have a whole like group of like 5 like little known streamers who aren't really, known. And they're like, I don't know, they make some sort of gimmick. They're the flying V. They just always do flying V's into battle. And like, that's the thing. And then it takes off from there and whatever. Yeah. Or like there's a group that just fights backwards. I don't know.
People who are starting that only stay in the base. People that are like trying to build barriers or something, because it's going to be like a mechanic where you can only build with one material.
And then you make a game within a game almost. So now it's like a subdirectory. You have Minecraft, but then you have the Helm's Deep.
Dude, that's so big on. By the way, on Minecraft, like these servers.
What is it? Freaking bed fights or I did this on Fight Night. Bed Wars. Dude, there's a massive community behind Bed Wars. I'd never heard of it.
Bed Wars is that Zone Wars thing I was talking about. Like I played Bed Wars yesterday.
Oh, that's what that is. Oh, yeah. Bed Wars is Zone Wars. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, there's variations like crazy of it, but the original one is like you all start in your own little zones, and then you build at each other and try to kill each other's beds.
It's freaking crazy.
And then there was like that build competition one was there, and there was like a holiday themed one, and these people build these maps and these lobbies and these things, and you could there's like Pixelmon where you just go into a server and you're playing Pokemon. Literally, they're just walking around and you catch them and you build your base.
Games within games.
And then we have our community server, which is just 200 people can be on it. We're building a town called Donnieville. And I built a full scale. I built a 50 by 50 by 50 size Donnie.
Yeah.
Like
Did you
what's the
to
thing
scale?
I literally have a picture, except I put armor on him because he's our god. And he and it was based on what in Lord of the Rings? They're in the boats and they're leaving they're leaving
The
Rivendell.
elves?
But no, there's just two huge statues they go between. What's that land called? I always forget.
Oh, the two who statues. I don't remember that land.
PM, are you a big enough nerd to know that? I don't know.
I've never watched the movies.
You need to
What?
leave right this moment,
I think we've talked about this before. I've been meaning to watch them. I just haven't
dude.
had time to sit down.
My God. Get all three
Homie.
extended. They did.
Seriously.
They won 12 Academy Awards. Like what?
Holy.
It just never appealed to me growing up.
They're just good movies. Just like
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
for fantasy, yes, but like just as movies go.
Yeah,
Wow.
I do.
Yeah.
I do really want to watch them. It's just one of those that like I want to sit down and watch them all the way through. I don't want to watch one, then wait like 3 months and watch another.
Fair.
So I've been trying to find the time to do that, but every time I do, Marvel comes in and smacks me upside the head, and they're like, "Here's Spider-Man, here's Doctor Strange, here's Loki," and I'm like, "Well, I have to watch this now." So
That's a good point. But yeah, I would say
So sad.
watch them all in like a 2-day, because like the extended versions are all like 3 hours and 40 minutes long.
yeah,
They're
my dad took me to the dragon one. What's the dragon?
Hobbit.
Was
Yeah,
it
the
the Hobbit? It was like the second one of it.
Smaug.
The Smaug. Yeah, and I
Hobbits
just sat
were
there in the
trash compared to
theater.
the originals.
Yeah, I sat there in the theater and he was like, "Yeah, this is a good movie." And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, there's a dragon, he's upset, there's a bunch of gold, what is happening? And
Yeah,
I think I was
that's
just in it
fun.
for the Sour Patch Kids. Like, you know, I just
Sour
really
Patch
Oh,
really
yeah.
wanted the candy.
Yeah, the Hobbit was meh. It was a lot of CGI, very, very, very like Hollywooded up.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings their cast.
No, I'll watch it for sure. I think
Yeah.
I mean, I have to. I don't know how I can. I just
You
need to
do.
find the time to do it.
So anyway, Donnie is one of those statues. Basically, he's just on the side of a river, and you have to like row past him to enter.
He's on the side of a river, really?
Like on a mountain. Like I literally hollowed out. It took me days, dude. I hollowed out a mountain. I made his head. I designed his head using blue pink graph paper, because his head's such a large proportion of his body. So like I kept screwing it up. I went into creative where you can just fly around and whatever. I did this in vanilla where you can fall and die, and there's no like you have to go farm all your materials. You can just grab them out of a box, right?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So Donnie, yeah.
Wow.
By the way, anyone who doesn't know who Donnie is at this point, you're just like living under a rock. But Donnie's my cat, and he is majestic. But
He
like
is.
so we called the
adorable.
town Donnieville, so that like he is basically who we worship. There's a temple in his belly. Like it's gonna be great. Super nerdy, but like you know what? Fuck it. I'm a nerd. I'm a huge goddamn nerd, and I don't care.
Yeah, you gotta lean into it. It's cool to be a nerd now. You're fine.
So that's that's gonna be a video showing how to do that. I got there's music blocks where you can literally write songs.
What?
We're like with redstone is like the electricity, so you can make like machines that you just design machines to do something, a specific thing you want. You can one of those things is you flip a switch, and then it has a timer, so it moves block to block in a certain cadence, which means if you put a note block, when that electricity hits a note block, it makes a sound. So so it goes ding, and then you can like you hit it and you can change the tone. You can move it up and down an octave. And then if you put it on certain materials, it makes different instruments, so like xylophone and guitar and piano based on what kind of material it's on.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah.
In the
so,
world
like,
in the world I have, I actually made a beat doing it. It took me like 3 weeks, but I actually
takes
made
a long
one,
ass time.
and it was like maybe 20 seconds, and I was like, this is terrible, but I love doing it.
I have a chorus of a song that I'm working on, and that is going to be the first. It's going to be like the welcome to Donnieville.
Welcome to Donnieville.
Like you go click it and it plays the song, and then we're here.
Welcome to Donnieville. It's all fun and games.
No, it's a song
Oh,
that
okay.
exists, and it's a meme around me. Mostly, people will get it once they hear it. It'll make sense. But yeah, so that's like a project that it's just like I'm
gonna excited about.
I'm gonna get Kate in there. So I'm gonna have her build her little like a house on the hill, so she has a place, so she can come.
Mm-hmm.
Like we do an event where we get everyone in there in the town, and then we go like have a like there's an arena being built where we're gonna go 1v1 each other in a tournament style, and then I'm gonna give a prize to the winner. Like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that you can do anything, bro.
That's great.
It's really great. But so I'm leaning in. I'm going for it. I'm going to do only those videos. And we're going to do it till the season starts and see what happens.
Yeah. And demand 100,000 subs.
Why not? There's another channel that keeps popping up, and every time he goes, "I'm going for 10 million subs," just so everyone knows. So just make sure you sub. And he does it in a good way. He's like, "It's my goal. Might as well tell you my goal. Maybe you'll help me out. Thank you." I'm like, why wouldn't you do that? That makes great
don't
sense.
be afraid to share that information in a tasteful way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just be like, guys, I'm setting a big, who knows, pie in the sky, but if you never reach for it, you're never going to get there. So why not? And I was like,
no, I love that.
That's incredible. So
yeah.
Anywho, that's, I mean, I know that was long, but
you're fine.
It's really, really relevant, I think, to both of us at the moment. Just lulls are lulls if you think about it in that way.
Super is, man. It really is. I actually was kind of thinking along that note, you getting Kate involved. So spontaneity is also a thing. Randomness, because quick story. Last night I was streaming, and for some reason, the week before, Tears had told me when my family was over. Tears like called me across the room while she was like with my mom and my dad. She was like, "BJ," I was like, "What?" She's like, "Betty White died." I was like, "What?" She's like, yeah, she was so old. I was like, oh, this is the worst. Like, this is the worst 2 years of my life. Betty White died. Anyway, fast forward a couple days. I say it yesterday in chat, and they were like, Betty White is not dead.
No, she isn't. We would all.
And I was like,
that would have been.
I was like, what? What do you mean?
7 billion people would be mourning right now if Betty White died.
Dude, I didn't see anything about it. I don't know. I just took it and moved on with my life. I don't know. Yeah. And they were like roasting me. They're like, I can't believe that you thought Betty White was dead. And I was like, I can't believe Tears didn't fact check that before she told me. And so I messaged her and I was like, who told you Betty White died? She was like, your dad. I'm like, don't trust my dad. He's like 73. He watches Karen videos on YouTube. He doesn't know news. He's not up on that information. And so she was like, she called me on the phone while we're on stream. And we're talking about like how my dad said all this. And so she called my mom because my dad never picks up. And so suddenly I'm on a 3-way call with my wife and my mother live on stream. And I was like, as soon as my mom picked up, I was like, Mom, you're alive on stream. Please do not say anything incriminating on here. Like, she was like what? And I was like your address. She was like, oh, you mean like saying something like VD? I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. Please do not say VD on stream. And so she just begins to like go off and be like a mom. And she's like, oh, can you see me? And I was like, yeah, I can see you. She's like, oh no. And she's like, can you see me now? And she like covers up a part of the phone that's definitely not the camera. I'm like, Mom, you're not covering up the camera. I can still see you. She's like, where's the camera? The point is, I was like, and the chat like obviously loved it. They're having a great time with it. And I was like, should I have my mom on stream more? It just like opened up an idea of like, maybe I should just get the people involved in my life on stream more often. I think people are curious about that. That's why vlogs are so popular. People just want to know about other people's lives. And like, maybe I'll get my mom involved.
Dude, we talked about the freaking Bachelorette for like a half an hour last night. Someone was just telling us her life story. I'm like, I don't think this is interesting. No, this was a friend of ours who's staying with us. And I was just like, no, this isn't interesting to me, but this is so interesting to so many people. Like this concept.
It is.
Then we went and watched Succession. I don't know if you've seen that.
Everyone's watching that show. I don't know. I can't get into it.
It's just super. It's like a reality TV show, but it's fake and it's about uber rich people. But like the drama is the same as it is on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Really?
I realized it. I was like, that's why I like this. Because it's dramatic. It's just dramatic in a setting that I'm interested in.
Okay. I didn't realize that's why people like that so much. I hear about it all the time. What's up?
I think one of your greatest stream moments as someone who's a viewer and a mod in your stream was when I think it was 2 Christmases ago in 2019 when you had Tears and I think 2 of your friends show up and you guys did like karaoke, or was it someone did something with singing? And I think that was the most active I've seen. Like everybody was just happy. No one was like, why aren't you playing Tarkov? No one was like, why aren't you playing Fortnite? Everyone's like, shut up and let everyone sing. And
exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
I think that's a great example of finding a way to do those, because that was memorable. I can't. Something happened, like whether you broke one of your monitors or something happened to where
remember.
people were like, this needs to be saved forever.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember that. Yeah, we had people staying at our house and they just like ran up and started like dancing and singing like Christmas
But
songs or
someone
whatever.
could sing though, right? Like someone could
Yeah,
actually
yeah. My buddy
sing.
Brian could actually sing. Yep. So he came up and started just like singing into the mic. Yeah. Yeah. That was the thing.
Spontaneity, dude. It's huge.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Yeah.
that whole Ludwig video, the video they made to link to Mizkif was about the fact that Mizkif is one of his policies is that his door is always open. So if you come over the house, because he's with the guys from One True King, OTK.
okay.
So like a lot of those people live around. I think he's in Austin. So a bunch of people are in Austin. He goes, if someone pops into this room, I can't tell them to leave. Like that's his policy. So people just walk into his door. So like the idea of the video was like that door made Mizkif a big streamer because people walk through it all the time and there's like a spontaneous like you just said, spontaneous like look who's here, something's happening. Like, oh, how's this gonna go? Like, and like these streamers who are not, maybe in a good light with people a lot have done it and have kind of basically like people who like they basically the chat would be like, oh, screw that person. And then as soon as they walked in the door, like, oh, they're here. And then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, leave them here. We want them to stay. Like that change. So that it's funny you brought that up. It's like that's literally like he's like, and what he says is, oh, I have that door open because I don't make any of my own content. I just want have people bring me stuff basically. So he goes then, and they can be on it if they want. It's great. So I was like, the fact that you just said that, like now I'm like, hey, come upstairs whenever you want, even though you're the only one who would ever come in here.
I mean, think about the all the moments from probably your stream as well, and my stream that I can think of, or anyone else's. All the best moments that I think of, at least the first ones that come to mind, are all either spontaneous or like real life situations with other people. It's very rarely like, I remember that snipe you made in Fortnite, like cool, like dope, it'll get my like, but it's not going to linger in my mind like something like, Kate busting in and just like singing a song in the middle of like you streaming. Like that's a memorable moment you'll always have.
It's interaction. It's interaction with people, and how those interactions play out is one of the most fun things to watch because everyone can identify with interactions with people.
Yes.
Like it's very easy to go like, what if that happened to me? And how would I handle it? Like a lot of people do that. Merckx was talking about it yesterday. He showed this video of this lady freaking out on people in Walmart. She's called Walmart Lady. And then he was like, how would I handle those situations? And then he's like, oh, is this why I'm interested in that video? Because I like to think about like, what would I do if someone was just screaming at me in a Walmart? I was like, yeah. Point. But at the end of the day, you just kind of like showed that on stream. So a bunch more people saw it. Yes. Now, a bunch of people are going to show that to other people because of you. And it's all because you're interested in it because you're thinking about it like that. Just it's a big like that's the connections between the whole thing. But anywho, I would love to but we talked right before we got on. You guys were talking about a movie you're excited to go see, and I thought it would be really interesting to basically let's just touch on a few things we're excited about because there's a lot coming out. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas,
and in terms of movies, shows, stuff you've been watching recently, maybe stuff that YouTubers, anything, could be anything. You got anything? Because I know you're a consumer of that stuff. Anything you're excited about?
Freaking love it so much. Yeah, you know what? People are like, oh my God, superhero movies, I can't stand them, blah, blah, blah. They're not very good. I don't care. I enjoy them. They bring me quite a bit of joy. So I'm looking forward to the last episode of Hawkeye. I've been watching it. I think it's great.
Did you watch the recent one?
I did watch the recent one.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to see it.
Oh, it's good. It's very good. And it's, oh God, I mean, I can get into the nitty gritty. I'm not gonna, but I will say, and PM, we've talked about this before, what makes me appreciate the movies more, and maybe if you're a skeptic, like, I don't really know how I feel about this, watch a Marvel movie, but then watch the breakdown of the Marvel movie. It makes you appreciate the detail that goes into it that you never even realized. And you're like, oh shit, they used this song and they used it at this like tempo to mimic like, and you didn't even realize it. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, Chef's kiss. That's fantastic.
Loki did a good job with that one too. Loki, yeah.
Yes.
There was that one scene. I don't want to spoil it too much, but there was that one scene where they're going like underground into the bunker area, and like the new Rockstar guys are like, all right, here's like the 25 things you missed in this little like underground, and I'm like, oh, there's that, there's this, there's that, and I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh,
you have to watch it.
Even down to like when they put the props, and they were like actually had runes on them, and the runes actually meant something. Like if you pause it and look at the runes, they translate to an actual word. I'm well done. That's incredible. That's the type of detail you'll have to see. So with that said, Hawkeye, I'm loving, but I'm jazzed as hell about SpiderMan. I can't wait to see it. I've only watched 2 of the trailers, and I have removed myself from anything that even looks red and blue. If I see it on my screen, I just scroll past it as soon as I can. I don't even look at it. I don't know. I don't want to know.
Love that.
So can't wait. So that, and then also The Witcher comes out.
The Witcher season 2 tomorrow. Yep.
The 17th.
That was
comes out.
My thing. Yep.
Woo!
We just watched it again in the end.
Oh,
by the way, have you seen the trailer?
Yes.
Doesn't it look like this looks like the first season went well? Because the first season was kitschy as hell at times. Like it was very Sci-Fi Channel feeling.
Yes.
But now watching the second trailer, like this is way more cinematic. Looks like they got a little bit more funding for season 2 because season 1 went really well.
Oh yeah. Like there's like, it seems like there's, hopefully they didn't put them all in the trailer, but like there's more fights, more monster fights,
more big like more like detailed monsters, like the street and stuff. Yeah. Yes. It was way more HBO than freaking Sci-Fi Channel for sure.
Yeah. Pumped as hell about Witcher.
It looks really good, and the monsters are bigger and scarier and whatever, and he's gonna be that. But like the storyline of the first season was really, really good the way they did it, so hopefully they keep that up.
And thank God for these breakdown things, because I didn't realize until I was like 3 or 4 episodes in and I watched the breakdown, they're like, yeah, this is all out of order. Like it's all what is that word? Not canonically.
Sequential,
sequentially out of order.
It was out of order, or it was like three storylines that were that were constantly jumping to, though they might have been parallel. Like they were still going fairly linear. Like those 3 storylines were all interconnected together, going at the same time. So those 3 were going in a straight line, but we were bouncing around. We were bouncing around, and we weren't in
correct. Exactly, and that gave me a lot of frame of reference as well. Also, The Matrix comes out the 22nd, I believe. Yeah. Jacked about that. And then right after that, the new year, bang, Harry Potter. It's like it's a nerdvana right now.
Cursed Child, right? It's called it's the show for.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Cursed Child story, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen the play. It's great. It's gonna be great.
You did see the play. I feel like I remember.
Yeah, in London. Yeah, it was incredible. It was a 2-day show too, by the way. Like, I didn't even realize that. And then we came back the next day to finish it.
No way. Oh my God.
Well, you can watch them back to back. They do, but like for whatever reason, we had to get tickets like that because the second part of the first day was sold out. But like, I don't know. People were doing what we were doing. It was all overlapping. It was weird. But it was incredible. It really was.
I'm even more excited now. I didn't know what it was going to be. I thought it was some sort of like just checking in, seeing how we're doing type of thing. I know it was actually.
I think the one you're referring to is a reunion, a 20th anniversary reunion on January 1st on HBO Max.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's Harry Potter 20th anniversary return to Hogwarts on HBO Max.
So is it just like 1st. a talk show type thing when they're all up there? Or is it like an actual piece of content or a piece of shit?
Trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
it's say that.
I do know the show is in development. I thought that, or maybe not show, maybe the video. I think it's a movie.
Yeah, it said something about 2022 for Harry Potter. I don't think it's.
I don't. Yeah, I was like, that's pretty quick turnaround.
Oh, that's very quick turnaround. Yeah,
but either way, like that's coming. Cursed Child is, by the way.
And then Halo on Paramount Plus.
I just saw the trailer for that today.
Dude, nut. So very excited about that. That's going to be great.
Nut.
Yeah.
And then, we got Lord of the Rings coming out next year. Not next year. I think beginning of summer of 2023, but it had a $500 million budget. So
That's the HBO show, right?
yeah, and it's on
Yes.
HBO. And it's
Goodness.
in New Zealand, and Peter Jackson is the director. So it'll probably be.
It's just
ridiculously good.
It's our time. It's just a time to be a nerd. We are in the golden age of nerddom, and I'm just gonna bask it. I'm gonna roll around in it, and I'm gonna love every freaking second of it. Also, this just reminds me. Sidebar: I'm very excited. I find out the gender of my child on Friday.
Are you
or
terrified?
sex, if you will? Yes and no. It's all the emotions in one. Yeah. No, I'm terrified and excited. It's a lot. I don't want it to happen. I'm very excited for it to happen. It's weird. It's very weird. It's like there's a duality, if you will.
Yeah, something's going to be set in stone a little bit in your head. And you're like, all right.
It's making it more real. Like we've been going through the phases of Tears of just being pregnant, which is basically just like we're on month 5 of Tears of being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's fine. It's what it is. She has some sort of, chronic disease. But now it's like becoming an actual child. No disrespect to my unborn fetus. No disrespect.
Later when you listen
should you watch this later? Yeah, we'll listen to this later. But it's just becoming real. Like it's an actual. There's a baby in there. It's not like I talk to the baby or see the baby on a day-to-day basis. It's just like, hey, you got a belly and your back hurts.
It's so weird that like when that happens for me, when we figure it out, I'm gonna be like, I'm about to know what set of difficulties because they're different. I'm gonna be able to forecast, things that we're gonna do, like developmentally, which we're gonna have. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yes.
You can say treat them exactly the same, but like come on, guys. There's just certain things that depending on your sex, or that you either have to do, not your sexuality or your gender, literally your sex. Like for example,
it's
your birds and the
to
bees
you.
Conversation is going to be different.
Oh,
depending.
yeah.
Like that one is a specific thing that you're going to have to tailor, right? That's the way I am. I'm like, okay, what problems am I going to have to solve in the next 18 years? Like that's where my brain goes, which is just it's so
I also
annoying.
Immediately think of my downfalls instantly. I'm like, oh well, if it's a boy, shit, like oh god, you're gonna have some trouble, and let me tell you about it. Like it's gonna be, I mean, if it's not gonna be cultural, it's gonna be biological, because I feel like, I mean, I know this is an old saying sort of thing, but like sins of the father type of a thing. Like the things that I struggle with, you will probably most likely also struggle with. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, oh, gosh, she's gonna have a hard time. Even just something as simple as like an actual medical thing. Like it's more likely for a boy to have cluster headaches than it is for a girl too. So just thinking of like I might pass that down to my child is like, oh, that's gonna be tough. So
I'm worried about passing on baldness. So
what?
My May family is everyone. Every single person.
You have the thickest mane of hair. What are you talking about?
No, I'm thinning on the very, very top. That's been a recent development.
Really?
But like, of course,
Your
I mean,
peak
I'm also
is furious. So
I'm also 32. Like it just kind of happens. I don't have power alley. Like I don't have the front receding back, so that's good. And I'm tall, so I can hide this. But my dad's bald. My brother is bald. Yeah. All of my dad's brothers are bald. All my dad's uncles and dad they were all bald. Everyone, every single guy.
I've never seen a single image of your father or your brothers. I have no idea what they look like.
Yeah, they're bald.
I can't imagine them bald.
My brother is he's very thin on the. I mean, he's not as thin as my dad, but my dad has been bald since before I was born. Like he was bald when I was born. Like I've never known dad. He had this huge curly fro hair too, which was hilarious. In the 70s, but that's what I'm worried about. Anyway, really quickly back before we can maybe hit a question before we go. I think I have a question off of Twitter I would love to touch on before we go.
100%.
But 2 quick recommendations for shows. I already mentioned Succession earlier. I don't know what. I'm hooked. These people, they're generally just think of the Murdochs and the super rich people who live in New York that are media moguls, and they have kids that are all feel like they are. Like you got the middle child who acts out all the time and the older guy who thinks he wants to live up to his dad's, the classic story, but they're all so goddamn mean to each other. But like they're just like, but it's so normal for them. But none of them are actually nice or mean or like show that they love each other in any real way. And you have to like, as a person who I feel like I'm like, wow, that's something you need to talk about. Oh, that's something you guys need to talk about. Oh, and every single scene is like that. It hooked the shit out of me. It like
Really?
Like their dad's just a fucking asshole, only to some of them. But then he like genuinely loves and cares about other ones. So you're like, what the? You're a cold-hearted bastard / the nicest, most caring person ever. I don't know what to think. And then I'm like, what's the next episode got? So I watched we've watched 6 episodes in the last 2 nights. And I think that we're just going to keep going. And it's just really interesting. There's that. And then for a wholesome show, which may have allusions to high schoolers having tons and tons of sex, which is kind of weird, but also Sex Education. It's got the kid from
Tears has been watching that a lot. She likes that.
Dude, it's really like you can get past like the awkward, like cringy, like interactions of high schoolers trying to figure out sex.
Oh gosh.
It's super wholesome and it has representation of every single person in the planet in it, which is really good. Really cool, and how they navigate through lives and how people are kind to each other. And it's got that kid who plays Ender in Ender's Game. Otis. He's the main character.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's like literally like some there. I don't know. I think they're in season 4 now. Some of these kids need to win awards. Like their performances are really, really good. So I recommend that as well if that's something you're into. And it's funny. It's like a funny, but like there's lots of awkward conversations and awkward situations and stuff. But like the characters, pretty much top to bottom, are all likable in their own ways. Like you don't hate anybody, which is pretty awesome. Even the worst people have like character arcs. So it's awesome. Go watch it.
Yes, you can invest in it. So
definitely Netflix
was
too.
This a question we had, like an AMA?
No. Like we do. So we do have an AMA. I thought this question would be super cool. Because
unrelated.
Because it's kind of that whole lull thing attaches really in. So really quickly, we'll get to one question. Maybe we make this a thing where we try to at least get one in before we go.
Yeah, that's good.
But from Absolute Zero, and I don't think we got this in the last one. It's like what's something you wish you had more time to do? Paul, cooking. Trevor, maybe more time to tinker with gadgets or programming or whatever else you're into. Just something that doesn't revolve around making content. Something that you wouldn't make content for.
That you wouldn't make content for. What do I feel like I want to do more?
That you wish you had more time for. That's just for you or just for your family or just for whatever.
Yeah.
I can go first if you want to think.
Yeah. If you have something, go for it.
Yeah. I wish I could do more music stuff. I've been doing a little bit of like very basic music theory refreshing, like I talked about last week, and like doing scales on the keyboard, like practicing I want to have like a fine skill, like a really cool fine motor skills type skill, like playing an instrument or like, people are good at painting or drawing or whatever. They like, that's like a side hobby. I want one of those hobbies, not like Kate's like, well, I'm like, I know I'm really good at baseball, but that's a brute force, like competitive sport thing. Like, I'm bigger, stronger, physically more, able to do those things maybe than some other people. I would love something that like is slower and takes a lot of attention to detail.
That's like, such a like, I feel like a stereotypical thing for like a large athlete. Do you find out?
Yeah,
like,
we always have this point in our lives.
Like,
yes. It's really common because we're so used to like, we get really like, I get really annoyed. This happened literally yesterday. I have in our little weight room thing. It's got the closet super cool. It's tons of shelving. So I put like all my supplements in there. That's where I put my medication. So I just go in there every day and just take my vitamin D and my multivitamin or whatever. And I dropped the vitamin 4 bottles, opened it, grabbed one, went to close it, dropped it, picked it up, took it, got the next bottle, opened it, grabbed it, went to put the cap back on, dropped it. And I was like, and the 5th time I noticed, I was like, dude, do not drop the cap or the pill this time. You're just so big and just bumble. You just bumble through your life. And it drove me insane. So I'm like, I have no dexterity in like little things. I can't like get my giant fucking hands in anywhere or like to fix something. Like the other day, we were trying to get the fireplace working and like get the pie light going. It's like, would reach back there and like, hey, you have to come do this. I can't do it. But I can rip this grate off to get back there. I just can't physically do it. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
I need something that's like more of a gentle skill, because it would help me just be more present when I'm like, when I type on a keyboard. It's like, like it's
Your camera literally shook.
yeah, of course. I'm slamming my keyboard. Like it's just, or I have to look down, or I'm like typing one finger at a time, and I realize, okay, look up and just make the mistakes and practice I just don't know attention.
I force
to that
myself to do that.
I would love to play, like piano is kind of what I'm looking at, and I think that being able to like have a melody and just be like and then and play it real quick, like, and PM probably can chime in on this. When you're making music, people with the ability to just like throw something down really quick or like get it out of their heads super quick, the workflow like literally 10x's, like it's so much faster.
Yeah, and there's few things in life that I can truly say that you go into a trance like music, like making music does. Like
because it just leads you on and on and on.
Yeah, I can put headphones on and make something in Logic at 6 p.m. and check it. I mean, I have this infamous thing that I did, not to derail this whole thing, but like my senior night of high school, I started making a beat at 9:30 until 6 a.m. I had no idea. I had no idea if, like the time was going, and I looked around and I was like, "Oh, the sun's up." I was like, I should sleep to get ready for school, and then I missed the alarm, so I had to run down to my school because it's like 4 miles away, and I missed the entire assembly for it. And I was just like, whatever, I don't care. But like in that moment, I realized that you can fall into like this huge trance with it.
That means you really love it. That's what
it's fantastic. It's one of the few things that like you have to actually slap me in the head to get me out of it.
Wow.
Or else
That's
I'm
really
turning the volume up every 5 minutes to hear something. So yeah.
Damn. Oh, you guys got really cool things.
What do you got? I mean,
well, I mean, I think about the things that like, give me a lot of joy, and food is uniquely one of those things. I really appreciate the ability to make a good dish, but then to share it with people. I love making a really good thing and then having other people have it, and they say like, that's the best whatever I've ever had. And I love that. I actually took a lot of pride in making really simple things like a chicken breast, a piece of steak, eggs, like very simple things that people have and butcher the really shit out of all the time. Yeah, but do it really, really well. I actually really, really, really do enjoy that. I wish that steak didn't have such a negative effect on my body. Otherwise, I'd probably have it and like fine tune it at least a couple times a week. But yeah, I would say that actually. I really enjoy cooking. Cooking's super, super fun. And smoking meat. Awesome. I love that actually. So, man, finding the right seasonings. When I find a new seasoning that like, it's like when you find a seasoning that you put it on a particular piece of food and it unlocks a whole side of that food you never imagined. Umami did that for me recently. I put umami on a steak and it just like brought the steak up to an 11. I was like, holy frick, I never even realized this.
You're talking about that's the Minecraft effect, dude. You're like, food, you can do anything.
That's true. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Like that's really like that's what I like about this whole thing is we're creating something right now, and then I love hearing when people react to it. I love it when like people like, I really like that episode. I'm like, wow, that actually affected
that gets me jacked up.
Yeah, it jacks me up way more than I thought it would. So it's really cool to hear that, and especially, and then not only that, when cooking is that thing for you, people around you that's such a good. When you have that person in your circle who just loves like not only making cool stuff and continuing to do really simple stuff really well, and then they want to keep building on that, but then you are the test subject, so you get a benefit as well. That's the best.
It's
so move to Seattle is what I'm saying. There's a house available next week.
It is a house available. Might be slightly out of the old budge. You know what I mean?
It's probably out of my budget too. I think we're definitely on the low end of the totem pole in this damn neighborhood. I don't like going on walks because I'm like, Jesus, where's the moat, my lord?
You pulled in with your Tesla Model 3, and they're like,
everyone's like,
nice Model
look at
3,
that
dude.
Poor guy.
Model
cool
X
rap,
plaid.
idiot. Anyway. And then I go, I don't care about cars. I'm more worried about the environment than I walk off.
They probably call it like a golf cart. They're like, nice golf cart, bud. Like that's what I use in the weekends to take my golf cart. They, everything over there. Yeah, keep it.
And then I hit him with one of these. Imagine golfing, and then I walk. and we're like, wait, who's insulting who right now? I don't even know. Is that an insult? I'm like, I don't know. You just made fun of my cool car, and I just made fun of your hobby. I don't know.
Exactly. We are the 1%, aren't we? Yeah, we are. All right.
Well, it is. I mean, what? Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
My bad. You should have did what I did. I love saying that to people. Oh, wow, my bad, dude. You want to switch places? Can you do my job? You can't? Shut the fuck up. Hit him with one of those. I never said
Trevor, 90% of his stream.
Most of the time, I take it, even though I did yell at people the other day. But, well, we'll get into that. We'll talk about that next week.
Not good.
All right. Well, that was a great question, actually. It's cool because it just shows us, again, like you just said, people want to know what's going on with other people. Like, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
That was a great question. That was exactly a prime example.
Thanks, Absolute Zero. Great job.
Yeah, great job. And as always, guys, don't forget, if you would like to, it's not like we're just going to pick one question a week. We're not going to make it like that, like we did, but in the prior format of this show. Mm-hmm. But we are going to be using a lot of your questions on Twitter and things for, kind of driving conversation here, because we're having conversations that we don't normally have on your streams. You don't see us have together.
Exactly.
And, it's helpful because we can't ask you because we're not on the stream right now. So it's the best way to get the questions.
Yes.
And we like it. It's fun. It's just AMAs are one of the most fun things that I think exists. So
I think it's fun too because we get to know what you guys care about. So that's also really fun for us too. Is knowing what you guys like.
And that's the point. We're just shooting the shit. That's what we do.
Exactly. Well, this is a long one. I liked it. This was good. We haven't done like a long one in a while. Yeah. Well, to our listeners and our viewers, thank you for watching / listening. This has been the May Contain Action Podcast, episode 81. Hot Dog, brought to you by the MCA Media Conglomerate.
Coming to IPO near you at some point in the next 10 years. And we are having more pods coming. Just be patient.
Yeah.
It's happening.
In the works. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next podcast.